Moving abroad is no longer just a distant dream, it's becoming a real opportunity, where some countries are actually offering money, housing assistance, and relocation support to attract new residents in 2026. What sounds surprising is already reality, with governments actively encouraging people to start fresh lives by easing the financial burden of moving. In this video, I'll take you through 8 countries that are providing genuine incentives for newcomers and how these programs work. Stick around till the end, because one of these opportunities could be the turning point you've been looking for. Let's start with number 8, Romania. Most people, when they think of Eastern Europe, think of cold winters, difficult languages, and complicated bureaucracy. Romania has all of those things. It also has something that very few people outside of the expat community know about: a government program that hands you up to 10,000 euros simply for agreeing to move to one of its rural regions. The program exists because Romania has one of the highest emigration rates in the European Union. Entire villages have emptied over the past 2 decades as younger generations left for Germany, Italy, and Spain. The government's response has been to pay people to come back or to come for the first time. Life in Romania outside the major cities is peaceful. The Carpathian Mountains stretch across the center of the country, and the countryside between them is the kind of green and unhurried landscape that people in Western cities pay a great deal of money to visit on holiday. A one-bedroom apartment in a mid-sized Romanian city costs between $300 and $600 a month. Groceries for one person run around $250 to $350. Total monthly costs for a comfortable life sit between $700 and $1,000, a fraction of what the same lifestyle would cost anywhere in Western Europe. The in-demand fields are healthcare, construction, agriculture, and technology. Cluj-Napoca in particular has developed a genuine technology scene that surprises most visitors. Romania is not for everyone, but for those who find it, it often leaves a lasting impression. Number 7, Ireland. Ireland is not a cheap country. Anyone who tells you otherwise has not looked at Dublin rents recently. A one-bedroom apartment in the capital currently runs between $1,500 and $2,000 a month, and that number has been climbing steadily for years. So why is Ireland on a list of countries that pay you to move there? Because the Irish government introduced the Town and Village Renewal Scheme in response to a severe population imbalance between Dublin and the rest of the country. Under this and related initiatives, people who agree to settle in smaller towns and rural communities can access housing grants, renovation subsidies, and settlement support worth thousands of euros. The idea is straightforward: spread the population, revive the countryside, and stop every young person from crowding into the capital. Outside Dublin, Ireland changes completely. Towns along the western coast, in counties like Clare, Galway, and Kerry, offer a quieter and considerably more affordable version of Irish life. Rent in these areas drops to between $800 and $1,100 a month. The pace slows down. The Atlantic is usually visible from somewhere nearby. Ireland's economy is one of the strongest in Europe, built on the back of technology companies that chose Dublin as their European base. Google, Apple, Meta, and dozens of others have created a consistent demand for skilled workers in IT, data, healthcare, and engineering. Average monthly income sits around $3,500. For the right person, Ireland rewards well. You just have to know where to look. Number 6, Japan. Japan has one of the most serious demographic problems of any developed country in the world. The population is shrinking, the countryside is emptying, and the government, after years of hesitation, has finally decided to do something about it that feels almost out of character for a country not historically known for welcoming outsiders. They are paying people to move to rural areas. Families who relocate from major cities like Tokyo or Osaka to designated rural municipalities can receive up to 1 million yen, roughly $6,500 per child, on top of a base relocation grant. Some local governments are going further, offering near-zero rent housing, free plots of land, and monthly stipends for the first year of residence. Life in rural Japan is unlike anything most Westerners have experienced. The infrastructure is immaculate. Even the smallest towns have reliable trains, clean streets, and functioning public services. A one-bedroom apartment in a rural Japanese town can cost as little as $200 to $400 a month. Food, particularly fresh produce and fish, is affordable and extraordinarily good. Monthly living costs for one person typically land between $700 and $1,100. The challenge is the language. Japanese is not an easy language to learn, and outside the major cities, English is rarely spoken. The culture also has a depth and a set of unspoken social rules that take real time to understand. But for people willing to invest in that adjustment, Japan offers something rare: a functioning, beautiful, deeply rooted society that is quietly opening a door it has kept closed for a very long time. Number 5. Greece. Greece has spent the better part of the last 15 years dealing with the economic consequences of a crisis that reshaped the country entirely. What emerged from that difficult period, perhaps unexpectedly, is one of the most attractive tax environments for foreign residents anywhere in Europe. Under Greece's non-dom tax program, foreign nationals who become residents and have not lived in Greece for the previous 7 years pay a flat tax of 100,000 euros per year on their global income, regardless of how much that income actually is. For high earners, this is an extraordinary deal, but there is a separate program aimed at retirees and remote workers that is even more interesting. Foreign pension income and remote work income are taxed at a flat rate of just 7% for the first 10 years of residency. In practical terms, this functions as the government handing you back a significant portion of what you would otherwise pay year after year after year. Beyond the tax incentives, Greece is simply a beautiful place to live. The Mediterranean climate means over 250 days of sunshine a year in most parts of the country. A one-bedroom apartment in Athens costs between $500 and $900 a month. On the islands and in smaller mainland towns, that number drops further. Monthly living costs for one person outside the major tourist areas sit comfortably between $900 and $1,300. The in-demand fields are tourism, shipping, technology, and healthcare. Greece is not the easiest country for bureaucracy. But the lifestyle, the food, the climate, and the financial incentives together make a case that is genuinely difficult to argue with. Number 4. Canada. Canada has been one of the most consistently popular destinations for immigrants for decades, and for reasons that hold up under scrutiny. Strong institutions, genuine multiculturalism, excellent healthcare, and one of the most organized immigration systems in the world. But what earns Canada a place on this specific list is something more targeted: the Atlantic Immigration Program and the Rural and Northern Immigration Pilot, which offer financial settlement support, fast-tracked residency, and community integration assistance to people willing to settle outside the major urban centers. Toronto and Vancouver are expensive. Everyone knows this. A one-bedroom apartment in either city can easily cost between $1,800 and $2,500 a month. But move to Halifax, Moncton, Charlottetown, or any number of smaller cities in Atlantic Canada, and that same apartment costs between $900 and $1,300. The salary levels are lower, but so is everything else, and the quality of life in these smaller Canadian cities consistently ranks among the highest in the country. Monthly living costs for one person outside the major cities sit between $1,200 and $1,700. Average income across the country runs around $3,000 a month. The most in-demand fields are healthcare, nursing, construction, technology, and education, all of which are actively recruiting internationally. Canada is cold. There is no softening that reality, but it is also safe, organized, English-speaking, and actively trying to bring in skilled people from around the world. For many, that combination is exactly enough. Number 3. Italy. Italy has a program that can feel almost unbelievable when you first hear about it, yet it's grounded in real, officially supported incentives. Since 2019, dozens of small Italian towns with populations under 2,000 people have been offering houses for €1. Yes, €1 to anyone willing to buy them, renovate them, and commit to living in them for a minimum period. The towns doing this are not obscure or unpleasant. Many of them sit in Sicily, Calabria, Sardinia, and the rural interior of the country, in landscapes of genuine beauty that attract tourists from around the world. Beyond the €1 houses, Italy introduced a flat tax regime for new residents that caps income tax liability at €100,000 annually, regardless of global earnings, and a separate scheme for retirees in southern Italian towns that taxes foreign pension income at just 7% for 10 years. Some municipalities have gone further still, offering cash grants of up to 30,000 euros to people who move in, start a business, and have children within 3 years of arriving. Life in rural southern Italy costs remarkably little. A renovated one-bedroom apartment runs between $300 and $600 a month. Food, particularly in the south, is fresh, abundant, and inexpensive. Monthly costs for one person sit comfortably between $800 and $1,200. The challenge with Italy is always the bureaucracy. The systems are slow, the paperwork is significant, and patience is not optional. But the food alone, some would argue, justifies everything. Number 2. Spain. Spain does not hand you a check when you arrive. What it does instead is something that, over time, amounts to considerably more money than most cash grant programs ever pay out. Spain's Beckham Law, officially the special expats tax regime, allows foreign nationals who become Spanish residents to pay a flat income tax rate of just 24% on Spanish-sourced income for the first 6 years of their residency, rather than the standard progressive rate that climbs as high as 47%. For anyone earning a meaningful salary, the difference between those two numbers over 6 years represents tens of thousands of euros staying in your pocket rather than going to the government. On top of this, Spain's digital nomad visa, launched in 2023, created a genuine legal pathway for remote workers earning income from outside Spain to live there full-time. The income requirement sits around $2,560 a month, accessible for most professionals working remotely for companies in the US, the UK, or Northern Europe. Outside Madrid and Barcelona, Spain becomes dramatically more affordable. In cities like Valencia, Seville, and Malaga, a one-bedroom apartment costs between $650 and $950 a month. Monthly living costs for one person in these cities sit between $1,200 and $1,600. The climate in southern Spain averages over 300 days of sunshine annually. The food, the culture, the architecture, and the pace of life are things people routinely describe as life-changing. Spain is not paying you to move there in the traditional sense. It also means that a smaller portion of your income goes toward everyday expenses. Over 6 years, that distinction barely matters. Number 1. Germany. Germany is not the first country that comes to mind when someone mentions financial incentives for moving abroad. It is efficient, serious, somewhat reserved, and not historically known for grand gestures toward newcomers. Facing the most severe skilled labor shortage in its post-war history, with over 700,000 vacancies nationwide, Germany introduced the Skilled Immigration Act in 2023 and expanded it further in 2024. This law doesn't just make it easier for skilled foreign workers to enter the country, it actively supports their relocation. Eligible applicants can receive financial assistance, subsidized language training, help with housing during the initial period, and faster recognition of foreign qualifications. Together, these measures are designed to make settling in Germany not only possible, but also far more practical and appealing for skilled workers considering a move. Some German states have gone further at the regional level, offering additional settlement bonuses in areas outside Munich, Frankfurt, and Berlin that are struggling to attract workers. Bavaria, Saxony, and Brandenburg have all introduced localized programs with cash components for qualifying immigrants. Life in Germany, outside the major cities, is known for being well-organized, clean, and surprisingly affordable compared to what many people expect. A one-bedroom apartment in a mid-sized German city like Leipzig, Nuremberg, or Dortmund runs between $700 and $1,100 a month. Monthly living costs for one person sit between $1,100 and $1,500. Average monthly income across the country is approximately $3,800. The in-demand fields are engineering, healthcare, nursing, information technology, and skilled trades. Germany is offering something that most countries only talk about: a serious, funded, organized commitment to bringing skilled people in and helping them stay. So, these were the 8 countries, my friend, that will pay you to move there. And if you had to choose one of these countries, which one would it be, and what is the one thing holding you back right now? Drop it in the comments. In the end, don't forget to like, share, subscribe to the channel, and press the bell icon to receive new content.